Hey yo, welcome back to the channel. I'm Duran with DuranSupply.com, where I'll help you design smarter, not harder. Let's create this 3D type effect in Photoshop. This is inspired by this Pink Floyd shirt that I saw. Super cool stuff, so we're going to be sort of recreating that. Okay, here I am in Photoshop. I'm using my classic document size, which is 16 by 20 inches at 300 dpi. The most important thing here being 300 dpi. That's what I use for pretty much everything I make, and it ensures proper print quality. First thing we'll do is type out our text. So I'm going to type out Pink Floyd since I'm inspired by that Pink Floyd shirt, and I'm using this font called Village, which I was searching for like a good 30 minutes. I think I was on page 30 of thefont.com until eventually I just asked in a group chat, and Ben from Boring Friends just immediately identified this font, which was insane. So shout out to Ben, go give Boring Friends a follow. Okay, and at this point, you're going to need to install this plugin called Eye Candy. It's from Exposure Software, Eye Candy 7, and it's just an awesome plugin. So you can see this right here. Just go to exposure.software/eyecandy, and they have a free, I believe it's a 30-day free trial. If I click here, yeah, 30-day free trial of Eye Candy 7. After that, it's just a one-time fee to use the plugin forever. So I was happy to pay that. I forgot how much it cost, but I use this plugin all the time, so it's definitely worth it. But yeah, go ahead and get the free trial of Eye Candy 7 for Photoshop. It's a real easy install as well. Just head to this link up here and you'll be good. And once you've got that plugin installed, just duplicate your text with Command J, go up to filter, and you should have this Exposure Software all the way at the bottom, which leads to Eye Candy 7. Go ahead and open that up. It's going to ask if you want to make the text a smart object or rasterize it. It's your choice. I just go ahead and rasterize things because I don't like smart objects. Cool. So now we're in the Eye Candy 7 plugin software, and it's a bit of an interesting UI, but basically you get to choose your effect up here, and they have a ton of effects to choose from. As you can see, there's backlight, bevel, chrome, a ton of really cool stuff. We're obviously just going to be using one effect, which is extrude, which gets us that 3D look, but feel free to just play around with any of these other effects in your artwork. I love this plugin, but for now we're just going to click on extrude. So these settings here depend entirely on your text and your document size. If you're using the same document size and resolution as me, which is 16 by 20 inches at 300 dpi, you can pretty much just copy these settings, but otherwise you're just gonna have to play around with it to get a look that you like. So I'm gonna zoom in here really quickly. As you can see, we have this sort of handle here, which lets you drag out pretty much the extrusion of this text, which is going to take a little bit to render because I'm recording. But yeah, so you could drag out this this little handle here to pretty much tell this plugin how far you want the text to extrude and in what direction you want it to extrude. So just play with that until you find something you like. I will say that the text color I used is black, which means that we could barely see the extrusion or the text. So what I'm going to do is click on solid color here, and that's going to change the color of our extrusion. I'm just going to leave it at this default aqua color because it doesn't really matter exactly what color it is. It just matters that we could see it a little bit better, and then it's a lighter tone for us to work with. So I'm just going to leave it at this color, and now I'm just going to play with this handle until I find something I like. I believe I had it around here earlier, which looked pretty good to me, so I'm gonna bring it back up there, try to get exactly what I had. It looks pretty good. One thing you do want to make sure is that the smoothness is on 100, so bring that all the way up to 100. If it's not on 100, you're just gonna have some really harsh lines once this gets rendered, so just keep that all the way on 100. And this looks pretty good, so I'm gonna press OK. Okay, cool. So once you have that effect rendered on your text, you're gonna have that in a separate layer on top of your layers panel. Go ahead and hide these past two layers that we were working with. That's the original text and the rasterized text. Just go ahead and hide those. The next thing we're gonna do is select the front face of this 3D text. So by using the color option within Eye Candy, we were able to get a unique color for the actual extrusion of the text while keeping the actual front face of the text black. And this is gonna help us separate these two into separate layers. So all I'm going to do is take my magic wand by pressing W on my keyboard. I'll make sure anti-alias is checked, and I go ahead and select the black here. So we're going to put this black selection on its own layer. So once you have it selected, just go ahead and create a layer mask on this layer by going all the way down here and clicking on that layer mask icon, and that'll pretty much isolate the front face of the text. But one thing we really don't want to see is when we zoom in here, we have these kind of remnants of the extrusion that are peeping out of the layer mask. So to get rid of these really small leftover lines from the extrusion, we want to pretty much expand the areas of black in the layer mask to overlap over these small parts. So we pretty much just want to flood the black parts of this layer mask a pixel or two extra, and that'll hide these parts. And we can do that using the minimum filter. So the minimum filter is going to spread out these areas of black and choke in the areas of white. So with your layer mask selected, go ahead and go up to filter, other, minimum, and you could choose a radius of 1 or 2 pixels, whatever gets rid of those extra lines. So you can see here when I zoom in, I have 2 pixels selected. I'm not seeing any of those extra lines in here, so that's looking good. I can press OK on this. So that's perfect. Now we're left with just the front face of the 3D text. I'm going to name this front, and I'm also going to duplicate this layer, go into the layer mask, and do Command I to invert it. And that's going to bring back our extrusion. So now we have the extrusion on one layer and the front face of the text on another layer. I'm going to go ahead and name this layer extrusion, and we're going to have to workshop this one as well, because you see once I turn the front off, we have all these reminiscent lines of the front face of the text, which we don't want. But again, we can fix really easily just by using the maximum and minimum filters. So for the extrusion, all we want to do is pretty much expand the areas of black in the layer mask. If I go into that layer mask, you can see that very clearly. I want to expand the areas of black and choke in the areas of white, and we can do that using the minimum filter. So again, make sure your layer mask is selected, go up to filter, other, minimum, and as you can see, we're getting rid of those lines around the text, which is exactly what we want. But if I zoom in here, you can still see tiny traces of that text. So I'm going to turn the pixel radius up on this minimum filter by 1 pixel, so I'll set that to 3. Perfect. So now we have just the extrusion with no remnants of the front face of the text, which is just what we want. The reason we're doing this is because once we start adding layer styles and doing effects on these separate layers for the front and the extrusion of the text that we're making, we don't want any stray pixels in there to throw off the effect. Or let's say we're adding a stroke, we don't want that stroke to extend to any stray pixels in the layer. We're going to want it either just on the extrusion or just on the front face of the text, and you're going to see exactly what I mean in just a second here. So this is looking good. I'll press OK on this. Again, you should have the extrusion on one layer and the front face of the text on another layer, and there should be no remnants of the opposite layer in either layer. You'll notice if you turn both of these on that there's a gap between the front face of the text and the extrusion, which is just fine. We can fix this with a simple stroke later on if you really want to, but just wanted to mention that that is normal and actually what should be happening. Next up, we can start adding layer styles and effects to our text here, and that's going to make it really pop. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually desaturate this extrusion layer. So I do Command U on my keyboard and just bring the saturation all the way down. And at this point, I can also play with maybe the levels of this extrusion to get more of a stylized effect. So I'll make a levels adjustment layer and I'll clip that to the extrusion, and I'll just bring these contrast values in. That looks pretty alright already, but alternatively, you could just add like a threshold adjustment on top of all this, and that'll yield a pretty cool effect already, especially once we start adding in the layer styles here. So I'm actually just going to keep the threshold on top of here for now while we work on these layer styles, because I believe this is a pretty cool look. So let's open up the layer styles panel of the extrusion. The first thing I want to add to this is a stroke. I'm going to choose the position as inside. I'll change the color to white, and I'll make the size around, I don't know, 6 or something. And then I'm going to add another stroke by clicking the plus icon right here. And since I want this to be behind the first stroke, I'm going to go down to the second stroke down here. I'll change the color to black, and I want this to be sort of peeking out behind the first stroke. So I'll set the position to outside, and now we have sort of a cool double stroke thing going on here. You will notice, however, sometimes you may have some pretty much errors going on with the stroke. We get these tiny dots popping out of nowhere. That just happens when there's like 1 or 2 pixels left to stray in the layer mask. So I'm gonna go ahead and press OK on this, and we can fix these little pixels simply by going into the layer mask of our extrusion. We'll go up to filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Just blur that by about 1 pixel, and then we'll bring back those harsh edges in the layer mask by going up to image, adjustments, and thresholding the layer mask, and that gets rid of those stray pixels. Since there's a gap between the extrusion and the front face of the text, it looks a little odd where the extrusion connects to the text here, and like I said earlier, we could fix that with a simple stroke. So I'll go to the layer styles of the front text here, and I'll just add a stroke. I'll set the position to outside, I'll set the color to black, and I'll just set the size to maybe 8 actually. That kind of fills out the edges enough to match it with the extrusion. Alternatively, you could just have the strokes on the actual extrusion layer not be set to outside. You can set this to center, for example, and that's gonna have it peek out a little bit less than if it were set to outside. So obviously just play around with these to your likings. I'm just a big fan of this sort of double stroked look, so that's what I wanted to show. But obviously you can go around and just mess with these layer styles until you're content with the 3D text. I'm gonna change the color of the front to white just so we can see this whole thing better. So this is looking pretty cool, and you can honestly leave it here, but let's take it a step further since we're trying to recreate that really cool gradient look from the t-shirt shoot I showed you earlier. We're going to be using my absolute favorite tool, VINTONE, which is a Photoshop template that is available on my store. VINTONE is a Photoshop template that lets you create vintage looking graphics with ease, and it works very well in concert with the effect that we're trying to make here. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up. Once I'm in VINTONE, I'm just going to quickly change the background of the composite to white. I'm going to turn off these textures. I'm going to open up the dither pattern, and I'll change that to a grain pattern, and that's going to set us up for the effect that we want to get here. Now back in our original document, I'm simply just going to drag these two layers here without the threshold into VINTONE. So I'll drag that into the composite group in VINTONE, and as you can see, VINTONE automatically dithers this and gives it that really cool Xerox grain look, and it looks really good right now, and that's half the reason I put it into VINTONE. But the other half is because VINTONE has a pretty cool coloring process that's going to help us achieve that gradient look that I showed you in that Pink Floyd t-shirt. So VINTONE is formatted to be perfectly color separated for screen print, so everything you put within VINTONE is going to be dithered, and by dithered I mean it's going to be all harsh pixels. There's absolutely no transparency within VINTONE. Everything you put in here is going to be automatically dithered with either that Xerox grain look, which I'm using right now, or halftones, or whatever you choose within the dither pattern. There's a few to choose from. Right now I'm choosing that Xerox grain look, and that dithering is also applied to the colors that you choose to put in here, and it's a really unique process. So let me show you. I'll open up the colors group here, and I'm just going to go down to color 01 here. If you're unfamiliar with VINTONE, this is probably pretty confusing for you, but if you do want to learn about it, this is a great video to start off on. But of course, you can also go check out my actual product demos and tutorials for VINTONE, which are available a few videos back on my channel, or go to the playlist on my channel called product demos. Either way, if you're already familiar with VINTONE, I don't want to bog you down with all the technicality of how this works. If you're unfamiliar with VINTONE, you're going to pretty much learn as we go, and this is going to be a really simple display of it anyway. So I'm going into the color 01 group here, and here I can paint in the mask to add color wherever I want, and again, it's all completely dithered, so I'm using just a normal soft brush here. But as you can see, when I paint in with that brush, we get that automatic dither and Xerox grain look on the soft edges of that brush. So I'll reset that really quickly, and I want to sort of color within the lines here within the front face of the Pink Floyd text. So what I'll do is go down back to the composite. I'll grab a selection of the front of the text just by holding down Command and clicking on the layer mask of the front of the text layer. And now I can go back up here. I'll click on the paint and mask layer and do Command G to put that in a group, and then on that group I'll click on the layer mask icon to create a layer mask over that layer. So now anything we paint in the original layer mask in this paint and mask layer is going to be kept within the bounds of the layer mask on top of it, which is set to obviously the Pink Floyd, the front of the Pink Floyd text. So you can already see the implications for a really cool gradient coming on. So let's do it. Let's make a cool gradient on this text. So I'm actually just going to paint in all over the front face of this text with this color, and we can change that color by going into the layer styles of this color group, double clicking it, choosing the color overlay, and picking whatever color we want here. I'm copying the gradient of the original text that we're referencing, so I'm just going to make this a light pink. Press OK on that, say yes to the layer style, and now to layer on an orange color onto this, I'm going to duplicate this color group with Command J. I'm going to change the color of this color group to orange by going into the color overlay, clicking on it, and choosing a nice orange. And now I can paint in this mask where I want the orange to be. So I'm going to take my soft brush and just brush where I want that orange to be. I'm not getting a straight line here, so quick tip. If you want to brush in a straight line, just click on one point, hold down shift and click on another point, and that will create a straight line between those 2 points with your brush. Cool, now let's do that same thing again using an off-white color. So I'm going to duplicate this layer, and I'll change the color to an off-white within the color overlay. So I'll click on that and change this to, I don't know, a sort of yellowish off-white. Actually, maybe I'll just do yellow. I think yellow looks cool. I'll press OK on that and go into the paint and mask here within the color group. And again, I'll paint in that yellow wherever I want. So I'm just going to paint that under the orange here. I'm actually going to change this pink to more of a hot pink because it's not looking too hot right now with the rest of the colors. So I'll go down to the original pink color group here. I'll change that color to more of a hot pink. There we go. That's looking way better. I'm going to edit the other colors a little bit as well. And cool. Would you look at that? Now we have this really cool sort of grainy gradient on this text here using VINTONE. We can even change the color of the extrusion as well by repeating that process in a very similar way, except we can just select the actual extrusion of the text rather than the front face of it and create a mask on a different color group for the extrusion. I'll do that really quickly here just to show you. So I'll open up a color group that we haven't used yet, and I'll grab a selection of the extrusion. So I'll take a selection of pretty much the entire text really. I'm gonna go up to this color group here, and I'll just fill this layer mask with white where we selected. So I have my selection, I'll just do Command backspace to fill that with white, and that's gonna fill up the entire text, but we can just drag this color group under all the color groups we just did, and that will layer these color groups on top of the extrusion color group. Now again, we can choose whatever color we want for this extrusion just by opening up the layer styles of this color group and choosing whatever color we want. So this pink looks really cool, I might choose that, or maybe even the yellow here. I think I'll go with the pink, and I'm really satisfied with how this looks. It also looks pretty good on a black background. So again, experiment with all this to your liking. I just wanted to show you my way of going about this. You obviously could have stopped at this stage in the text making process. This looks really good, but I just wanted to take it a step further, because if I was using this for a project, the first thing I would do honestly is open up VINTONE and create this all within VINTONE, because as you can see, we can get some really cool effects using this template. So you do have a few different options for how you want to do this. I hope you got something of value from this tutorial, even if you don't have VINTONE, but obviously I'd recommend picking up VINTONE anyway. It's a great tool. I've used it on official merch for Stevie Nicks and Olivia Rodrigo, so it obviously gets the job done. I'll slide you a discount code in just a second here, but otherwise, that's a wrap. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you want to pick up VINTONE or any other products on my shop, you can use the code YouTube15 for 15% off of your order. If you got any value from this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I post videos like this every week to help you become a better designer, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.